Dancing through the streets, we wander, falling for the fire. Burning at the heart, throwing hands up to the sky. Ooh, we live for the night. Ooh, here for the ride. I feel alive under the city lights.
Oh girl, just say something. Oh baby, won't you say something? No running, you got me thinking about the state I'm in. Going back to that place we met. Yeah, I've been feeling lost somewhere deep within. No, I can't turn back, I need that grin, that loving. You say you want it, baby, take this in. You're feeling spent, but I know you want it, I know you want it. Oh girl, you know what I've been through. I don't know if I can do this on my own, no. Oh baby, tell me what to do. I don't know if I can do this on my own, no. I've been drinking, think I'm fading.
And welcome to the very first Overwatch match of South African leagues. My name is Authorize, and I'm here joined by SunPheonyx, the one and the only.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Exhausted after a long day of work, but I'm excited to get our first taste of South African Overwatch. I've been itching to see some local teams play, see how these teams kind of stack up. But I think I'll let you do most of the talking in the first bit here, since these are two teams you should be very familiar with.
I mean, that is very much correct. These are two teams that I have both been a part of, teams I've managed. Being here, obviously having this as the first game is very good. Like, just for me personally, having my two babies battle it out to see who comes out on top.
Is that what you want? Your two children fighting with each other?
That's what every parent wants. You got to see which one is the actual better one. But
that explains a lot about my upbringing.
The teams have gone through a bit of a roster change since last year. Obviously I've come out of Odyssey, and they've gotten some pretty big names. These teams have actually kind of swapped rosters between each other as well, with JRV now being on Odyssey instead of being on Calypso as he was previously, along with Cirrus as well. So those are two people. Like, Odyssey is now yoinked from Calypso, and Calypso then has obviously brought in their own kind of teams with BK7. But looking at both of these rosters, I think Odyssey really have done a very good job at stacking themselves up, managing to pick up Fluffy.
Yeah, now, I mean that is a superstar pickup if I've ever seen one. Obviously, Fluffy sort of unfortunately dropping down from that Goliath Gaming squad that was a little bit ill-fated as it turns out, but a very strong player in his own right. Formerly of 2CP before that, trained under Visions in the hyperbolic time chamber for the off season, and now he's ready to come pwn some noobs here in Zere Overwatch. And Authorize some players that stick out to me here. Somebody with little experience of these two teams: JRV26 and Assassin JDB. Obviously, I casted about 80% of the Talent Cup, and those are two players that really stood out to Paragon and I as DPS players, and I'm excited to see how they perform in a more controlled team environment.
That's exactly right. These players have been on more of the lower brand teams, but that doesn't mean that they're on lower brand players. JRV does an excellent job when he gets in game and gets clicking in those heads, and Assassin is very good at backing him up. So obviously this is the first games that we're going to see. So outside of scrims, these are both these teams' first official games. Neither of them played OD, so we will see now how they play out with the nerves coming in, with now the pressure of actually needing to win, unlike in a scrim. So I think it'll come down to very much who has the more cool, collected, calm head. And I'm looking at Odyssey for that because, like I said, Fluffy may be an extremely strong player, but he has an incredible experience with him that I think he'll bring into this team that will just control them and smooth them over. And I think Calypso have to kind of match that with their own talent.
Yeah, I think we're in general we're going to be looking at Calypso being on the back foot here compared to Odyssey. I agree with you, Fluffy, and from what little I know about Fluffy, he seems to be quite a cool-headed individual as well. So you should just stand him in pretty good stead with this team, hopefully guide them to a good result. On the other side, though, we do have a few players I recognize from the Talent Cup as well as from before. Pale and Slick performed quite well in Talent Cup. BK7, obviously, we know from before. I believe he was on Chronic Underdogs or something. And Hemisphere as well as another player I recognize, as well as a few names, a few new names as well.
Yep. So I do know our first map is going to be Ilios, as if this lobby creation is correct, and I'm not sure how these teams are prepared for different strats. I mean, coming straight in, I'm not sure exactly how their meta is, how their strats are. So it's gonna be so exciting to see how they decide to pick and how they decide to see what they decide to run. Are they going to be on the meta that we've seen in Owl? Ryan, D.Va, sometimes that double main tank, or are they going to be opting for their own kind of strategies that suit them specifically?
Well, we're about to find out as we are jumping into our first map here. Ilios, as you suggested, will be our starting map, and it looks like it's going to be Ruins. would have favored map here, but I wonder if we'll see any of the French sniper.
You know, I think both these teams have pretty good snipers on their actual roster, so I think we might actually be able to see some pretty good sniper deals coming out. And if they continue to opt with it, even if they're losing the sniper battle, or are we going to see dive? Are we going to see, like I said, the Ryan Diva? So many options that this teams can portray that I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what sort of colors these teams will bring out. You know, South African Overwatch is kind of funny like that. They can literally play anything and make it work.
Yeah, you know, we aren't limited as the, you know, top teams are. They have their strats, they have their things that work, and, you know, when you're not as good as that, you're allowed to pick and choose a little bit. If you have the best Tracer in South Africa, run Tracer, even if you're not using Al.
Yeah,
exactly. We will see both teams opting for that Widow battle, as I said, and that's going to be interesting to see. Rich and versus JRV, both very talented snipers in their own right. Today they will come down and see which gets the ultimate mantle. Otherwise, pretty meta comp we're seeing around here.
Very meta, yeah. Other than that Widowmaker, we're seeing the May, we're seeing the Ryan Diva, like you suggested, a little bit of Moira as well. Fluffy on his trusty Anna, look for a lot of sleeps out of him. I saw Hemisphere sitting on the Pharah for a couple of seconds there, but he's decided he's going to run that May. I suppose teams move towards each other here. This is getting an advantage a little bit. An aggressive movement there from Pelmet. He's a nice wall. Wall going both ways. Trap in between all the tanks for both teams. No one going down. Pelmet finally taken down, courtesy of a big anti-nade from Fluffy. And they get anything else here. Good wall. JRB finds the pick on Rich. And it looks like here, gonna push it forward. Another huge nade from Fluffy. So many. Slick running away on the back foot now. It's just the Ana left here. BK7 not gonna be able to do much here as Odyssey control the first take here.
Odyssey have to, Calypso have to have an answer there for Fluffy. He's being able to land so many good anti-nades and already has that nano up, while BK7 is only seeing a 47% on his. Other than that, you know, ults are looking pretty even. Slick going to be a lot closer to his Shadow, so depending on how he uses that. Wall coming out.
Getting aggro here with a charge wall. Comes out, Slick taken down very quickly. That's a pretty bad start if you are Calypso. JRV going to follow up with a kill on Rich. Calypso going to have to pull back here and reset.
JRV doing very well to get these picks onto Rich, denying him all the space. And this is what I was saying. Do you stay in this weather battle, or do you decide to, you know, counter it? Play something that you know can beat it instead.
See how he chooses to respond. Right now, Rich will be staying on the Widowmaker. He feels he can get the picks he needs to on that here. May Alti's going both ways. The Venn diagram of death. Oh, I actually don't see the other one. Not sure where they ended up. Oh, Shadow going down from Slick there. He picks up a couple in the back line, but unfortunately his team is taking too much damage. Taken down. Fritz cleaning up all the kills here. That Deeper Bomb not going to find anything. 60% on the clock here. Calypso going to have to reset for another fight.
I think Calypso are just not focusing the same target. You know, Pretz was frozen, then stunned, then every sort of CC onto his name, and still didn't die. Managed to pick up 2 of his own kills for the support of his own team. So I think Calypso have to be focusing as the same target here, especially if they're like connecting that Blizzard. We see Rich dropping to the Hunter now, not opting to take the Widow battle anymore. He wants to be a little bit closer and help break those shields a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. Wasn't quite working out for them. Let's see if Calypso can push their way in here. Nice anti-nade. Here comes the ulti from Assassin JD. BJRB picks up 1, picks up 2. Big plays from the Odyssey sniper here, and they're gonna make this one look super easy as they close out Ruins here, 99-0.
I think, you know, Calypso are really feeling the pressure of JRV on that Widow and Fluffy doing absolutely amazing with those heals. Yeah. And they need to play around it. They need to focus the same target. I think again, I'll allude to the fact that Pret stayed alive that entire time was just unbelievable. Calypso have to be, you know, shot calling and making sure whatever, you know, is frozen, walled off, is actually dying.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Maybe it's nerves. Maybe we're just feeling those nerves that we spoke about earlier, being the first game of South Africa and Overwatch. So we will see how they come out here. We are going to see a Far Mercy.
I'm very interested to see that, although it looks like...
No, we're not seeing a Far Mercy.
Decided against that. We do see the Baptiste here, 4 BK7. Historically a DPS player, but running the main support role here. Flex support rather, for...
I think he just plays everything he wants to play.
Well, whatever the team needs, that's the kind of player you want on your team. different choices here for rollouts from both teams. Calypso on the high ground, gonna drop down and move towards point straight away. As Odyssey choosing to stay on the low ground here and look for an aggressive move wall. You go down there, but not able to find anything. They need to be careful of Rich on the flank here. Can he find any kills on the... Oh, okay. Let the point go here, Odyssey. Feeling confident. They're going to turn and find Rich. I like that decision. Get that pick. Now move to take to win the fight here in the 5v6. Slick charging in, counter charge, sorry, from Slick onto Pets. They're taken down. Good follow-up from the rest of his team. Now, even 5-5 fight here. Good heals coming out from the healers. Trigger happy though. Takes down Slick. Now on the backline, focusing supports, although Hemisphere finds a return kill, but it's looking pretty good for JRV and the rest of Odyssey here as they're going to clean up very nicely. JRV picking up trip towards the end of that.
Rich unfortunately was caught in such an awful position, being so split away from his team, and then while they got the point in that 30%, it wasn't enough that, you know, Odyssey made the very good call there is, let's clean what's split up first and then take point. Then we can engage and make our hold from there. And they executed that pretty perfectly.
I wonder if that's that veteran presence from Fluffy there. He made
must
the call
be.
and said, look guys, don't worry about the point, just get the kill on Rich and we can clean up after that.
You know, Fluffy just brings a massive brain into this comp, even with his skill, that I think is just gonna aid Odyssey so much.
Let's see how Calypso respond here. Moving on in. High Noon coming out from JRV, gonna make his way around, doesn't find anything, but does a lot of damage. Slick charging in, gets a little bit of a tap onto JRV, dropping lower, turns with the shatter, it's huge, but do they have enough follow-up so far? So good for Odyssey here. That was Pet, sorry, making all the plays on that Reinhardt. Cyrus picking up a double there on the Lucio. DK7 is lost to fall. Moira gonna be skedaddling on out of there, but so far so good for Odyssey.
You see BK swaps the Ana here. He wants a Nano of his own, but the ultimates coming from Odyssey now are just so stacked in their favor. Having that Blizzard, having that Nano, self-destruct, having that sound barrier, massive ults that can change the game in their own right, and they have 3 of them. So I think Calypso have to push this perfectly.
Yeah, speaking of perfect, nice initiation over the top there. Have they spotted it out? Doesn't find anything there. Oh, taken down before he can remix. A little bit of aggressive positioning there. Good counter charge from Slick onto Prince, but he's taken down immediately. Trigger happy! Make that a 4K. Odyssey firmly in control of this match so far.
I think, you know, the bomb was so well placed, but there was just no follow-up, nothing stopping Pret from shielding it. And a bomb in its own is not enough when you just throw it. You have to be following it with something else, and I think Calypso aren't well versed enough doing that.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Gonna have to make the way in there. Oh, nice move from Slick there on the ball. Almost gets the Diva down. Finding a point now. That's a huge anti-nade again. Fluffy making the difference on that. Everyone flying off the map. Odyssey, a full cleanup here. Fluffy on the Ana, making a difference. It's just Hemisphere left and he's taken down. JRV with a double at the end, and Rage Quit Odyssey gonna be cleaning up Ilios pretty easily, it has to be said.
That definitely was a very much one-sided map, you know.
Play of the game.
We're not going to be watching that play of the game because play of the games are disgusting.
Like watching people getting frozen and shot in the head?
But, you know...
Oh, okay!
I think the issue that we saw coming from the side of Calypso is just that they didn't follow up and have their combo set up properly enough. They, you know, were using skills but not in combination that you want to see. And, you know, Pretz was actually really good on those shadows. He was doing absolutely amazing at controlling Slick, making sure that all of his shadows landed, and just everything came for value. I'm super impressed to see how that came out. And again, I think a lot of it comes down to Fluffy is just, you know, running these comps. He's running these strats that Odyssey are doing, and they're listening to him wholeheartedly. And he's, you know, he's performing, and he's providing them with what they need.
Yeah, it does seem. Obviously, we can't exactly see what the contribution of Fluffy is. For all we know, it's Pretz on the front line. They're making all the decisions.
That is very true.
We have to assume, given his experience, that he's making up a lot of the leadership structure there. That said, though, standout performances from JRV as well, and Pretz, like you said, on the Reinhardt, stalwart on that front line.
Yeah, so like Odyssey are playing so well and blowing my mind here. It makes me so proud to see how they are coming through. But again, we're moving through quickly. This is a best of 5, so the first person to win 3 maps in a row will take this specific game of the week. And our next map is looking to be King's Row. So I think, coming through in this, running these D.Va, Ryan, maybe we see a little bit of more death ball comp from the side of Calypso, pushing through the side of Odyssey, making sure that they can't get as much value. Their comp was a little bit scattered, from most of what we see. We don't normally see the Baptiste run with that comp. That comp is more run with the side of, the double tank meta, where you just run at the enemy together.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, South African Overwatch, so guess what? We have a pause, boys.
I think that was an auto pause, yeah. Rich DC'd. If you're gonna DC, this is the time to do it.
That's
if you
true.
could control your random DCs, you do it before the game even starts. So Rich picking the perfect moment here to have his internet fail him or whatever. It's not load shedding time, guys. Check your apps, check all your shit, make sure everything's functioning correctly.
It's not a South African game. We don't have 4 pauses, so we gotta make sure we start these pauses early.
We were allowed to pause. There was a small window of time where it seemed like we weren't going to be able to.
That is very true. In the old, before couple hour ago rules, this would have been a game we just carried on playing. Luckily, Rich came back fast enough, and we can push on into this. So, what do Calypso need to do realistically to be able to take this?
A lot, basically. A lot, unfortunately. I think if I'm Calypso here, I'm focusing on some of the fundamentals, making sure our initiations are crisp and well executed, making sure our focus fire is good, making sure we are listening. We have designated a shot caller, and B are listening to them. And just, it seems like this is going to be a really difficult game for them to win. So take as much out of it as you can. And try and put up as best a fight as you can muster.
At the end of the day, wins and losses are important, but what you learn throughout the game is actually more important than that. Dropping maps to teams is not the end of the world, and while it won't secure you, that top position where you earn 1,000 rand thanks to Raving Mad Gamers, it will allow you to improve for the future. I mean, we are only at the beginning of the year. We have entire cups, tournaments, everything coming, so what you take from this is important. But we do need to see Calypso punish and aggress onto Odyssey properly. They need to be calling those targets. They need to be shutting down the heals, using those walls to isolate targets and kill them quickly. And I feel like that's where their biggest weakness is at the moment. So we will see now how they do decide to push.
2, 1.
Indeed, let's see.
Pharmacy coming through. That's what we wanted to see.
That is a pharmacy here for Calypso. Hemisphere Christmas on his back here. See if they can find any damage so far. Not able to put too much damage in there, other than into Pretz's shield. Doing his job quite well here. Oh, Rich, okay, finds the opening pick there on Assassin JDB. He does not have a mercy on his team. That's a big anti-nade. Pretz dropping very low. They need to get aggressive here and punish him, and they do just that. Rich making up for a little bit of a crazy flank on Ilios and picks up 3 to open the fight here for Calypso.
That was a extremely clean fight. Rich coming up clutch, getting those 2 kills, but he was given the space. Odyssey weren't aware of what he was until the pick was done, and by then it's too late, and he just carried on pushing forward. Like I said, punish the backline of Odyssey. Punish a target that you know you can punish. So, point will be taken instantly, and now we begin the little dance that is King's Row.
Ooh, JRV finds Christmas there. Are able to be protected by his Pharah, and that's what you need out of your McCree. You need him to control the skies, along with Fluffy. Pharah needs to be careful with your Hemisphere. Rich, though, finds Spritz on the front line, but Trigger Happy tracks down that Pharah, ending the pharmacy's reign of the skies, but that's a big shadow with the Nanoblade follow-up. Slick finds so many in that, and Rich with the follow-up Dragons to pick up Fluffy. Pale Native to finish off Assassin. Now they're going to get aggressive here. So far, so good for iEnvy Calypso.
I mean, Calypso extended a lot of ults there, but that doesn't put them too far behind. Native is going to have his bomb now, way ahead of Trigger Happy. Hemisphere should be working on this barrage. Well, on the side of Odyssey, they do have the Nano, they will have the High Noon, but at this point, that's about it. So even though they extended, so many ults, that doesn't mean they're so far behind. So they can take this engagement here at the next choke.
Speaking of taking the engagement, that's a D.Va bomb going straight in. Doesn't find anything. Assassin, JDB keeping himself safe with the Cry Freeze. That's a big anti-heal. They're forced to expend the Nano. Is Fluffy onto Pretz. Can he get anything done here, Pretz? No, not quite, but his team doing more than enough here to make up for it. Fluffy finds Pretz towards the end of that. Now, Odyssey going to be trying to clean up the last few kills here for Calypso.
They engaged very cleanly there, they engaged together, and that's what you want to see from Odyssey, you know. They knew that they weren't up in the ultimate, so they engaged with pure kills. Killing Rich, who they know, you know, Rich is getting all the kills. Let's make sure we take him out quickly and take him out first. So that was a good engagement there, and now again, now they are looking good with their ultimates. They will have Blizzard, they'll have Bomb, they will have Shatter. They also might have Beat over here, whereas on the side of Calypso, all you're going to have is a Barrage, you're going to have a Nano, and then you will have your Valkyrie, and those aren't very impactful ults on their own unless you get a good Barrage.
Especially if Famous Gear dies like that. No more res left for Christmas as he brings it back into the fight. So that Barrage, I think, is going to be really, really difficult to get value with when you're playing into the McCree and Fluffy's Anna. So, can they follow up? Alti going in. Trigger, beautiful combo there from the two Odyssey tanks as they pick off two and end up pretty much the perfect team fight.
And that's what I mean, like, Odyssey are using their ultimates correctly. They're using the bomb and making sure as soon as Slick turns around to block it for his team, he's shattered, which means it blocks for nobody. And that's what I want to see Calypso doing here. They took a really nice engagement, and Rich better not die here. They took a very nice engagement, and then it kind of all just fell apart as they're just running bodies in. So hopefully now they can win this, and that's a big pick.
Yeah, very big pick there. Pale finding JRV there. Oh, I wonder if this is Rich again.
Well, like I said, it's not a surfing game unless we have 4 pauses.
Oh, this time it's JRV. I didn't catch his ult charge. I
and
wonder
Fluffy.
if... Oh, okay. That's very, very strange. But they're not related, right? They're not.
No, I mean, I don't think so. You know, not only do you have 1 DC, you have 2 of them.
Yeah, this is so bad. JRV, that's probably why he died there. But Fluffy, I mean, you can't defend this now for Odyssey. You can't just have to give it up. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do from a, administrative point of view.
I mean, we come in to South African Overwatch knowing we are going to have DCs, we are going to have pauses. Every team knows this, so we're all super accommodating. It is just super unfortunate having both JRV and your Fluffy DCing, which means they are both. This fight is on the verge of breaking out, and now they're down 2 members. You know, JRV and Fluffy will come back from spawn, meaning they're down main heals, down their massive support. So if Calypso do not win this, I will be shocked, and I hope they do not expend ultimates unless that Blizzard has come through from Assassin. I mean, this is entirely winnable if Odyssey play this perfectly. You have that Blizzard. If you can make sure it catches enough people, you can possibly win the fight. But look at the positioning from Calypso. They are half-half, which means your Blizzard is only catching half the team, which doesn't put you in a very good position, especially when you're down 2. Yeah.
It's not a good position to win a 4v6 from. And I think you're perfectly happy expanding the Valkyrie if you really need to. For Calypso, but I agree. Obviously, you want to be able to win a 4v6 without ultis.
So we will just be waiting on the side of Odyssey to bring their players back. I hid my chat, so I can't really see who's coming back. Lex, I will keep hitting my chat. But so as we wait for that, looking into further engagements, if Calypso do manage to take this point, they are going to be up as long as they do not overcommit this fight. If they go into this fight, not using any ultimates, able to take the win, maybe they can force the Blizzard out and not use any of their own either, maybe just the Valkyrie, then they can move into this last, most dangerous point of King's Row with the ult advantage and hopefully use that to win. So all eyes will be on Assassin over here to see, is he using his ultimate, and if so, is it going to get enough value? I hope Pale Native is eating it just because we love seeing eaten ultimates.
I love seeing good D.Va plays.
We haven't seen a single ultimate eaten yet from the side, from any team in South Africa. This is the first game, but no ults have been eaten, so who is going to be the very first? From this huge sample
pool we have, we've seen very little. So I think the really crappy thing is, though, that they lose all of their ulti charge for the 2 players that have left. So even if they don't expend anything and lose this team fight, they're still a step behind because they've got to build those ultis up from 0. But we are jumping back into the game here. Both players have returned. I imagine we'll just see the Odyssey boys just back right up here.
I mean, Assassin is stalling that point really nicely. He's not been killed there finally, but not expecting the ult.
Yeah, good call from him. They got a push. There we go. And it looks like maybe they're going to buy enough time for some of the backup to get in, but no. Nice aggressive play there from iEnvy Calypso. They're going to push down Press, push down Trigger Happy, and let that baby skedaddle off.
I think,
Naked.
Unfortunately, that is the worst play that Odyssey could have made there. They held that point, they held that corner when they were 2 down, and unfortunately they lost Pretz. They, Calypso were able to demech Trigger, which meant he had to die to get his mech back. Which means look at all this free space they're getting here, and they've now still got the ult advantage. Rich will have his, Slick will have his, BK7 will have his. There are a lot of ultimates going into this fight, so Calypso have the upper hand here, so they have to play it properly.
Oh, big sleep, sorry, onto Fritz there. Ulti goes in the backline, they're committing a lot of ultis both ways. JRB finds the first pick, both DPS actually, of Odyssey, making big contributions here. Fritz with a huge shatter, picks up 2, neutralizing the nano boost there onto Slick, and it looks like after a little bit of a short intermission, back in control here are Odyssey.
Pale has to be aware of the enemy Mei and her positioning and her ult usage. She's getting so much value with each Blizzard. And again, though you're throwing Diva Bombs and praying that it gets somebody, they need to have an actual plan going into these fights with their Diva Bombs.
Yeah, agreed. Ooh, a little bit of a nap there. Slick, he's also had a long day at work. It's like, oh! The biggest anti-nade I've ever seen. Pale Native taken down very quickly. Bad positioning here. A bit of an ambitious shatter from Slick. Doesn't find anything, and it looks like iEnvy Calypso here. Gonna have to back up. That's a big one! Another 4K. Trigger Happy with the big Diva Bombs. Gonna close that one out nice and simple for Odyssey.
I think Calypso are just struggling in their comments at the moment. You know, they're letting this Diva Bomb get so much value when people are still alive. And, you know, Hemisphere actually walled his own team off and wasn't able to take any follow-up there. So they need to be careful with those Mei walls. While they're so valuable, they're also really detrimental if using them incorrectly.
100%. Let's see if the iEnvy squad can make something happen here. Odyssey gonna play a little bit safe here, back up Rich, and looks like it could be a decent ulti. JRB, nice combo on the 2 players, but that is a huge Mei ulti. JRB though does find BK7, but the Mei ulti of Hemisphere secures the kill onto him, and Slick finds a nice deep charge on Cyrus. Good cleanup here for Calypso. The Rage Quit squad gonna return fire here with 2 ultis. Pretz and Assassin committing the ultis. It looks like they're actually gonna turn this one.
That is
perfect communication from the 2 players from Odyssey.
If that isn't one of the biggest turnarounds that I have seen, I do not know. Trigger Happy's gonna jump off the map to get his mech back. But what an absolute amazing turnaround. Pret's aware that no shield is available because Slick died early. Shatters and that Blizzard just comes through and makes sure that no one is able to follow up. I mean that no one is able to escape. So, once again, 1 minute to go and we're back here getting this dance again.
So we're a minute left on the clock of that wall. Looking pretty decent, but a nice counter wall there from Assassin. JDB, that's a big anti-nade. Let's see if they can get aggressive here. They do look to do so, and they find the kill on Cyrus very quickly. Return comes in from Rich though, a nice charge. Slick finds Press, but he's frozen up for his troubles, and Trigger Happy will pick that 1 point. Moving in, Trigger Happy gonna commit the ulti here. Doesn't find anything, no. Finds Hemisphere on point. This is looking pretty good. Trigger Happy taking a nap. They haven't spotted him yet, okay? Finally Happy, he wasn't able to remake there. That's a really big play from BK7 and a Pale Native. Gonna commit his ulti on support. A nice ulti from Cyrus there, but not able to keep himself alive on the point. Crits though on that Hammond. Dropping the point, not getting pushed forward. A committal ulti here, finds Assassin in the backline, but not able to follow up here. Slick onto the enemy Mei. Can Odyssey bring this one out? Can Calypso close this one out? Trigger Happy finds
there we go,
both directions. Finally gets in a little bit of a C9 there from Rage Quit Odyssey. Calypso will take that.
Score
I mean,
0.
well played from Calypso, getting the picks that they needed. They really came together at the end there. But that payload just pushed itself towards that end of the map. It went almost the entirety of this last section while Odyssey were taking that fight, and it put them so close that all they needed was to finish up a couple kills, which is exactly what they did. Though I do want to say well played coming through from Odyssey to keep that kind of stall going through. Pret's hiding from the bomb as Lucio touches in. Pret's coming back in after that. They danced perfectly, keeping 1 person on payload until obviously there was no one on payload as the hype kind of took over there. But If you ain't spamming C9 in chat, you're throwing.
Yeah, it was a baby C9. You know, it was a A9 or a B9. Not quite at Z9 levels just yet.
But that does give
Ready for battle.
Calypso all 3 points, but more importantly, it gives him all 3 points with a time bank left. It may only be 17 seconds, but it is enough to take us into an overtime map that is not equal to a draw if Odyssey finish this.
Attackers incoming in 30
So,
seconds.
yeah, I mean, 17 seconds is 17 seconds, but it's enough to keep you in the game if Odyssey are able to complete this map with a time pool. If they are not able to compete with a time pool, both teams will get a minute. I think Calypso will get a minute and 17 seconds, and then we'll play from there. But yeah, it's important to make sure that the time, if it's 1 second, a minute, you have that time bank. But coming through, we have a Reaper.
Yeah, JRV on that Reaper. Gonna try. This is a pretty old school comp here, you know. Replace the Rhine or the Sigma, replace the Diva with the Orisa, and you've got something very familiar. But let's see if JRV can get anything done on that Reaper. He is playing into the pharmacy though, Rich this time. On that Pharah, backed up by Christmas once more as they move their way through. Wow! Aggressive charger from Slick straight onto Pretz, but he's got no backup just yet. Isn't able to find that kill, and he's dropping low. He is taken down first. Cyrus as well, finding Hemisphere in the hotel, and it looks like they're gonna have to try and get out of here. That's a res coming through onto Slick. Good work from Christmas there, leaving Rich unhelped for just a little bit, but he's able to find. But Slick immediately taken down by Prince. They've really targeted this Reinhardt while on the side of Odyssey here, and Calypso dropping one by one here as BK7 taken down on the point. That's a napping Pharah. That's not what you want to see. Fluffy flexing his ana muscles there to pick up the sleep onto Rich, and it looks like Rage Quit Odyssey gonna make this first point their home.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's as clean as engagement as Calypso had, but it did win them that fight. I think, you know, Rich was supposed to be spamming a lot more, putting a lot more pressure on that Pharah with no one there to contest him. Unfortunately, he wasn't. And Slick just didn't have the support that he needed as Pretz charged into him. But now we'll begin the dance, the payload does begin to move.
Let's see. Doesn't quite hit. Big shadow here from Pretz, gonna get aggro. Squishes BK7, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. A Slick finds a return kill, but pays for it with his life here. Pale nated as well, gonna drop. And Rage Quit Odyssey just gonna move forward here and clean up the kills. Hopefully the pharmacy can get out here and set up for the next team.
Yep, so we will have ultimates now in usage on both sides. Both nanas are gonna have the nano boost, but I'm looking specifically at Assassin, who does have that blizzard at the moment, and we've seen how good he's been able to use those blizzards now, especially paired up with Pretz. Pretz doesn't have a shadow, but they should be able to make it work if they use it nicely. So we will see them hold us forward choke. Slick is going to have to get a massive shadow of his own if he wants to make this contest happen.
Yeah, Rich has now switched onto that McCree, decided the pharmacy's not working, playing into JRB's. McCree is no mean feat. And we're gonna eyes on Slick here, see if he can get anything done with that Shadow. Aggressive player, not able to eat it. Oh, huge Shadow! Counter Shadow into the ulti. What a beautiful counter play from Slick there. Beautiful follow-up with the anti-nade from BK7 as well as from the rest of Calypso as they counter that May ulti with a perfect execution.
That entire win was Slick. Like, I don't care what happened, who happened, Slick won that for his entire team. The brains on that man to see they are blizzarding, they are going to charge us, I am going to shatter them to oblivion. I applaud the man thoroughly. But it's not over yet, as we still have a bomb, we still have nano.
Big double shatter there, taking a lot of damage. Good. May from BK7 will keep his team alive here. May ulti going in one way. Oh no, the shield popped. Christmas taken down there on the Lucio. Pretz charged out by Slick, but he's nanoed and Slick is not. And Slick is isolated and Slick is taken down. It looks like Odyssey, a little bit of a faux pas in the previous team fight. It's back to normal here for the Rage Quit squad.
Jeremy does fall, which makes this a holdable fight if Calypso are able to hold it properly.
They're on point. Here comes the ulti in from Pale Native. A little bit of a poor position. Not able to find anything. It is able to get back in his make though. And here comes BK7 with that nano boost onto the Hemisphere's May. But it's a big shatter. Kills the May immediately. Slick taking a bit of a lie down here. Although he's not quite taken down here. Charging quite aggressively. Taken down though before we can find any purchase. Pretz dropping low. Big anti-nade onto Pale Native from Fluffy. Doesn't look like he can find anything as JRB picks up another, finds another, as the Rage Quit squad pushes their way through point B here.
Yep, now 4 minutes to hold, but we have seen this is one of the best positions to hold if you can stop this payload moving right here. but the ultimates on the side of Calypso don't look good. Speaker 7 now stopping to Baptiste, hoping for that immortality just to keep Slick alive long enough to keep those engagements going. And now we're going to take this corner fight.
Wall comes out here, not able to find that much. High Noon in the background, doesn't seem to find any purchase. Does fire, doesn't find anything. That is the immortality field down there. Trigger Happy getting aggro, not eaten again by Pale Native, but that was yeeted from downtown it looks like. And it looks like Rage Quit Odyssey is going to push straight through here. JRB getting aggressive. Not long for this world, taken down eventually as Pale Native ends his own life here. Do they have enough time to get back in here? Just barely. Hemisphere gonna buy some time for his team. Here comes Slick across the map, but a shadow from Pritz shuts him down in his tracks. And it's here comes the ulti though, not eaten by Trigger Happy. A lot of ultis going in here. Immortality field as well, but no. Trigger Happy will find one with that. Christmas does end up getting triggered before he can remake. Oh no hope for Pale Native, and it's not quite in. Oh, beautiful counter shot there from Pritz. Not the first time we've seen that. The Slick's taken down with help from Fluffy's anti-nade, but they're not able to touch on the side of iEnvy Calypso, and Odyssey will take that one with 3 minutes left on the clock.
Yep, so, you know, I said they were able to hold it, but unfortunately they weren't. Pale Native has to be aware of these Mei ults. That one was, like you said, thrown from downtown, and it wasn't eaten up by Pale Native. He needs to be on that Mei when they're aware that she has ult, because Assassin is just getting way too much value with these Mei ults, and it's just turning the fight for Odyssey. And I think Calypso need to slow their roll a little bit. They're getting very ahead of themselves sometimes in these fights. They're pushing ahead without a proper plan. They're throwing diva bombs. You know, they're getting a couple picks, and then they have no plan following those picks, and you have to always have a plan, and that's what Odyssey are doing so well, is they have a plan after a plan after a plan, and if things don't go according to plan, they're able to adjust very accordingly. They're making their engagements as a team. You'll see when they speed past chokes, they're doing it together. There's not one person struggling behind.
Yeah.
So we need Calypso to hold that mentality and to see, okay, you know, this is what we have to do. These are the plans we have to do. These are the ults. They have to be ult tracking better. But 1 minute to attack, but we saw them take the attack on the first push last time, so it's possible we could carry on and get like a 7-7 Kings row.
Yeah, it is possible, but Odyssey seem to have found their stride on this map. And let's see if they're able to defend this one without giving anything away here. We do see the pharmacy out from Calypso here once more. We'll be pumping damage in. Can we see any more magic from Rich? This time on the Widowmaker. He was able to open up the point last time and secure a bunch of early picks. Pritz getting aggro here. There's a Maywall. That's a big anti-nade both ways, in fact. BK7 and Fluffy putting in the damage, and they do find kills in both directions. But it's Slick goes down on for his team, and that's pretty much going to settle this fight, I think. Only 25 seconds left on the clock here. It's a very aggressive Baby Diva. They're just going to let him mess around there for a little bit. Damage going through here from Hemisphere Star, but not able to find anything. Neither team sitting on any ultis yet. Trigger Happy closest to his on that D, but the self-destruct could be a difference maker here, but I don't think they'll be able to get it up. Here goes Slick across the map with a big charge, hooped out the way, taken down by Assassin JDB with help from the whole team, but Rich gets a return kill on Assassin. They do have the Mercy, it's going for the res, doesn't end up finding it too greedy from Christmas there. Calypso falling here. Unfortunately, Odyssey seems to have more in the tank. It's Trigger Happy, finds one, finds two. Fluffy gets the kill on Pale. Oh, Slick manages to work his way in here with the ball, but I don't think he's going to last very long, especially courtesy of that anti-nade from Fluffy. He gets killed by JRB, commits the Deadeye. Hemisphere not able to get in, as let's see the full hold here from Rage Quit Odyssey.
I see the draw. All I can say is I see the draw.
I mean, they have 3 minutes to defend, so
I see the draw.
it's still a pretty tough draw.
That is very true. 3 minutes to hold this point. You know, Calypso have to come through strong. They are going to have to pull everything that they've learned in these past two maps, because it is not going to be easy to hold this 3 minutes. That is many ult cycles. But pushing back to the previous point, you need to see Calypso taking cleaner engagements. You know, they held that one engagement for a minute. They were, if they took 2 clean engagements, they were able to get 2 off. But unfortunately, they stayed engaged. They stayed poking when they shouldn't have been, and they kept that engagement going far too long for a minute hold. I mean, for a minute push, and that just let them only have one fight. That honestly just cleaned up.
Yeah, I think a little bit of panic there from Calypso as well. You saw Slick doing this long range charge. I wasn't even sure if he's going to be able to hit a wall from that range.
Yeah,
All
Slick
the
needs
way
to be
across
careful with
the
those
point.
charges.
He eventually found his way towards the end and was immediately demolished. Also ended up killing his Mercy. I mean, it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. About whose fault that was. Christmas probably shouldn't have gone for that raise, but still, that if you put yourself out of position like that, even with the Mercy, she won't be able to bring it back to life, and she might risk too much to get taken down in the process.
Alright, well, we will see Rich now back on this Hanzo. He's got so much value with before, so hopefully he can clutch and keep that 3-minute hold. All going to come through, just giving him enough space to make that rotation.
Yeah, let's see here. Odyssey moving forward. Wall does come out. Doesn't quite get the block off they were hoping for, or at least they don't take advantage of anything there. It's a big fire strike too, actually. 100 damage. Oh, he's anti-nated. That lamp is keeping him alive so well. Slick, good work from his supports, but unfortunately too little too late to keep up the Odyssey or the Calypso main tank, which does get a return, but it's looking like JRV gonna be cleaning this one up. A big anti-nade to secure the point here for Rage Quit Odyssey, and they're gonna be taking game 2 here to put them up 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, like I said, Calypso needed a perfect hold, and unfortunately it wasn't there for them as they just fell to the wayside. I think May's walls are so well of keeping Slick isolated, and you know, you'll see Assassin is permanently freezing Slick. Slick never has the chance to swing, keep his shield up, because as soon as he makes that initial swing, Assassin is freezing him. But what an amazing shadow, obviously. That has, like, the shadow there gets play of the game. Not Rich, but that's okay.
This is just play the game things. There was a much better showing though from the Calypso squad. We saw them actually able to finish the map. We saw them take a lot of good team fights. Maybe you were right about nerves. Maybe they aren't up to scratch compared to the Odyssey squad, but showing us a bit more fire in this particular matchup.
Alright, well, you know, like we say, you've gotta learn from these matches. Winning, losing, it doesn't matter as long as you're taking home what you've learned. And it does look like we will have substitutions coming in now.
Yeah.
JRV and Cyrus have both been removed from the lobby, which means we will probably see some a DPS and healer come through, and it will be Shadows and Rinku Haru.
So, do you know anything about these players? Shadows, obviously, very familiar with, but Rinku Haru?
Rinku!
Oh my, why must I say these names, dude? Rinku Haru.
Just call him Rink. I think, you know, he's a very good DPS. He does have very good potential, and I think following this Odyssey squad he'll be able to do really well. So, we will see Shadows on the healer, Rinku Haru picking out DPS as it's sorted out. And replacing JRV. JRV is getting really good value here, so we'll see if Rinku is able to keep that value. But I think Assassin is just doing so well in this game that JRV was given the space, so Rinku should be able to follow through. And Shadow's replacing Cyrus over there on that off heal. Fluffy's still in, keeping that important.
Yeah. Do you think? Do you know if Fluffy's captain of this team, or is it just a leadership?
No, Pretz is captain of Odyssey.
Okay, so do you think this is them just saying, okay, I think we've got this one in the bag. Let's give our subs an opportunity to show what they've got. We are kind of flexing on this one.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's important to give your subs space. I mean, to give them time, to give them morale. But I mean, it also could be, they don't necessarily have to be subs. Rinku is really good. Shadows is really good. That way, you know, they're not throwing by putting their subs in. They're giving their subs time. They're building more synergy together. I mean, they could also be bringing specialists. We are going to Assault now.
That's true.
So we can bring in a Genji specialist. We can bring in all these kind of specialists that we see on the more Assault maps. And those are the kind of things you see on the top tier teams, is using all your members to your advantage.
Yeah, this iEnvy squad also has quite a deep roster. We don't see any subs from them. Why do you think that is? You think this is the roster they've decided they're going with? Or?
I think, yeah, this is the roster that decided maybe the others couldn't make it. Maybe, you know, they're trying to build, like I said, maybe they came into saying, okay, well, we can't win this map. Let's use this roster to learn what we can. Let's use this time to build this strat that we're running. It's not necessarily all about wins and losses. It's about learning. So Calypso could be like, okay, you know, we aren't able to win this, so let's learn from what we can. Let's keep this roster and let's keep morale up as we can, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Let's see what they're able to bring here. Composition-wise, pretty much more of the same. I asked him to move friggin' 2-2-2, and I'm still not seeing 2-2-2 in the raid team there, but anyways. Pale Native still in that Diva. Ryan Diva for both teams here. We do see Rich gonna try that Widow again. It was okay on King's Row, but I think he didn't quite have enough time to get anything done.
Yeah, so we will see kind of the standard comp. Assassin actually being on that Junkrat now instead of on the Mei. Rinku is actually going for the Mei. So maybe this is what I said, they're specialists. Assassin using that Junkrat, so they brought in Rinkuharu, who's a really good Mei. Like, this can be what they're planning.
Yeah, and this is something we saw in Talent Cup. Nobody else was really running it, but on Temple of Anubis, Assassin JDB was getting a lot of success with that Junkrat, controlling the sidelines as they move in. Let's see if he's able to do that. Watch the chokes here when they come in. We might see them try to control that up with the Junkrat. Not able to do so just yet, although good Mei wall from Rinku here. Slick taking a lot of damage here as he comes through. Oh, the sleeper to trigger happy. That's quite good. Nobody will take advantage of that, but maybe they can actually. Charge in both ways. Ryan, Pret's taken down straight away. Big freeze from the Mei, but not good enough. An Assassin, JDB in the background, finding a couple here. You need to be careful here. Anna, all by herself. DK7 not able to heal her team, and team winning as a result. A beautiful Mei wall from Rinku Haru there. Well, I'm not even trying. Just Rinku.
Call it Rinku, yeah.
Just Rinku.
I think
maybe you're right. Mei specialist making the difference.
Again, these Meis are just on Reinhardt 24/7. No matter who's playing it, they know that the Mei has to be freezing that Reinhardt, attacking that Reinhardt. They lost the first pick, but unfortunately, you know, Slick just stayed frozen after that initial fight, and unfortunately, Rich wasn't able to get any picks with the Widow. We will see him stop at the Hanzo. Maybe we can get him more with that.
Oh, Slick out of position there a little bit. Taken down by Trigger Happy there. Good work from the Odyssey squad as they find the second kill. Make that a third in Christmas and DK7. Wall coming down, trying to buy them some space to retreat here, but it doesn't look like Rich will be able to get that done as Odyssey firmly stamp their control on this map so far.
And again, Odyssey are looking to be a top 4 contender team. And they are showing that they are really not one to be, you know, underrated and thought of in this, because they are performing absolutely well. We now have Rinku, who does have his Blizzard Online, and Trigger will have his bomb, so that's a massive combo that they have now to use.
Yeah, let's see what they can execute here as Calypso work their way through. Mei wall there from Rinku, gonna buy Odyssey a little bit more time. Trigger thinking about getting aggressive as we look through the eyes of JDB here, putting through a lot of damage onto Slick's shield here. That Mei isolated a little bit, but ooh, not able to find the kill. He does have his ultimate. Let's see if he uses it. Shatter in from Pretz here as they get aggressive. This is not where you want to be against a Ryan and a Junkrat, but a great wall there from Hemisphere. Gonna keep them from coming in. Slick to end up taking down Pretz. He did find Christmas in the meanwhile, and it looks like it's already in the kill feed. Slick finds Shadows, Assassin taken down as well, and now they move on to the point to get the last 2 kills. They choose to commit the ulti there. I think the Nano baits that one out. Can they find the Mei? They do just that. Slick getting low. Trigger gonna try and find him, but he won't be able to do so. That was a very, very well executed team fight there from Calypso, but it has to be said, Odyssey making a few mistakes as well.
Yeah, Odyssey were very much out of position there, not aware of the aggressive dive coming through, and we're still gonna have a contest here.
Hello?
Shadows is still on the point.
Shadows? Okay.
He will get his 3-second respawn, so I guess he took a couple of seconds off there, but the point will flick now, and we have 4 minutes going into round 2.
Oh no, they're getting kills on the front line though. Authorized Hemisphere finds Assassin JDB on the point. Can they get in and fight? I think he's still got the short cooldown.
Well,
Yeah.
Shadows will not. Shadows will now have a long cooldown.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? Short?
Ulti going in there, big charge, he gets him! Beautiful team play from the 2 tanks of the Calypso squad. Fluffy though finds Hemisphere with that anti-nade, and here comes the Riptide. He finds Rich with that. Assassin putting in work, and you can't win a team fight in 2CP when you're trading like this if you're the attacking team. So we'll probably see the defensive team here, Odyssey in this case, clean up pretty handily with the much better respawn advantage.
I mean, they were able to get a tick, but they used too many ults. I mean, they will have Nano go into this next fight. Hemisphere is building on that next Graviton Surge. No, Blizzard.
Oh, imagine.
And Slick will probably have a Shadow, but like I said, Rinku is still holding on to that Blizzard. He has that if need be. Price will have a Shadow. Again, Trigger will have his bomb. These are amazing combos that they've shown they can work with. So now we'll see if they can put them together as well as when, you know, Assassin is on the Mei and JRV is on the McCree.
See indeed here. They move here right side as the attackers do. Slick on the Reinhardt gonna just be moving a little bit forward, but you can hear the Junkrat there on your right side. He's there on the left, sorry. I'm listening to my own screen, and it comes from a different side, but splitting up here a little bit, this team. They need to be careful here. Coming on the back, Slick with the shadow. Beautiful move from Prince there, turns it back. Taken down, yes he is. Trigger happy, finds the kill onto Slick. Shadow blocked there by getting frozen from the main ulti. Does he eat that? No, he doesn't. I thought he'd be able to get that one. Pale native there on the Diva, but Shadows finds the kill in Hemisphere, and again, the trading out here. You can't win a team fight in 2CP unless you win it handily as the attacking team. And it looks like we're going to see Odyssey just clean up here. Slick makes his way back in, but he's not going to commit anything too deep here.
You know, I don't like being mad at players, but Pale has to eat those. He was right in front of the Mei. The sound cue is enough at that point. He has to be eating those. I don't know what to say yet. Assassin will have his tire in the next fight, which they'll probably use as Ingress goes. Pale Native will have his own bomb, so maybe they can combo like I've been asking them to combo so far. Maybe get that charge coming through when the bomb comes through. Or maybe a pick on the Rhine first to open the soul up, but looks they will be attacking left side here. Against a Junkrat, I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, against the Junkrat, you don't have that many options. Very aggressive play here from Hemisphere's Mei, but look at this. Assassin JDB, this is where he wants to be. Pale Native's gonna have to put in so much work. He throws the ulti in here, doesn't find anything. No! Yes, he does. Fluffy taken down. That's a big kill, but Assassin gets a return onto Hemisphere. As we can see, Slick frozen on point here. Shadows finds one, Trigger finds another, and that's pretty much game over. Rich, oh, they're committing so many ultis here, though. Honestly, I don't think this is a winnable team fight, but maybe I'm wrong as they pick off Trigger happy. Rich finds another. Rich putting in so much work as Pale gets the kill on Pretz here. Assassin JDB still on the point though when he finds Pale Native before he can get back into that mech. Fluffy taken down. Rich doing so much work but not nearly enough to buy his team a team fight win. There's a lamp very deep there, not sure where that was heated from, and Slick's gonna have to try and bail out of this team fight without giving too much HP away.
Fortunately, they just weren't able to get that second tick in time. And the horrors, they were so close.
Oh god, they were so close. That's super unlucky.
Well, we will be entering our last fight now, 20 seconds to go, and Odyssey's ultimates are stacked.
No, they're gonna come straight down the throat here, straight down center, but Assassin JDB from behind, he finds his Christmas. He didn't have ulti, so it's not the world's biggest kill, but that's still a little bit of healing lost there. As Slick moves his way through. That's aggressive shadow. He finds one, but a better one from Pretz to return. Fluffy picks up his second of the team fight. Pale Native not able to touch points there. And that's gonna be a second point hold here for Rage Quit Odyssey.
Yep, they were just able to hold that second point. I know it is hard to break a 2 CP point, so all that Odyssey need to do now is get that second tick of point B Anubis, and they will have this game in the bag.
And the whole series, yeah.
And yeah, and the whole series. So we will see now how they decide to do this. Again, they are performing so well. They're unit. They're working as a unit so hard, and that's what you want to see in these South African teams. You know, Odyssey are really. They're making me regret ever leaving them. You know what I mean? They are performing so well, and I'm super excited to see how they go forward.
I'm super excited to see them play against some of the more top flight teams in South Africa, your TCPs, I mean, even your ATKs, your some of the newer squads, the OGs and the Ladens as well. I'm really interested to see how the power rankings stack up. But to me, Authorize, it looks like Calypso just has a little bit of a discipline issue more than anything.
I can agree. They need to be more drilled in these attacks, defense, ultimate usages. Slick needs to either, you know, stop getting frozen, or they have to counter around the freeze. I know it's not
just don't get frozen for it.
But they have to be, you know, because that is all Odyssey are doing, is they are freezing Slick and pushing onto that mine point. And we have a dive.
We do have a dive here. Is this more of just kind of flexing from Odyssey, or
I mean,
I think this is what they would run on this map anyway?
I think they are comfortable with their dive. You know, Rinku on Genji, Assassin on the Sombra. I'm not exactly sure how well versed they are, but maybe they can just use that to their advantage. And you know, they want to be diving on this point on Anubis. So Rich has to be on point with those stuns as that dive comes through, and they have to be stopping everything that is thrown at them, and that I'm specifically looking at the Nano Blade coming through from Rinku, who already is at 20%.
You need to be careful here. They're splitting quite heavily, looking for the Sombra. I like that they are aware of that though. They do know it's coming. An Assassin dodging through here.
Still up yet to have the initial dive come through, but we see Calypso run all the way back to point.
There it comes here, Monkey going straight in here. Pritz finds, wow, instantly find all the kills they could ever need. Their Pale does get the return on Rinku, but it won't matter a lick here that the rest of his team falls in quick fashion. And wow, you couldn't ask for a more crisper execution there.
I mean, I think the giving up the high ground from Calypso there was a little bit of an odd call. They huddled up, waited for Pretz to push into that, and they gave up that high ground instead of, you know, waiting for the point to be contested first. But maybe that's what they've planned against, and now they can go back to looking at that. But, so we do have BK7 stopping to the Brigitte, and Christmas will be stopping to the Baptiste. So hopefully they can counter the dive a little bit more, but we're still looking at that Nano Blade, and there's 5 minutes to go.
When we've been seeing the Brigitte and Owl, we've been seeing it paired with the Anna most successfully. Obviously, we saw some Outlaws BS with the Lucio where that worked real bad. But let's see what happens here. Aggressive movement here. There's the lamp from BK7, or Christmas rather, able to keep his team alive. There's a big Shadow, taking down Rinku, taking down the Lucio. Shadows in the back line, but he's not able to find any more than that. Shadows, yeah, taken down. A really nice team fight there from iEnvy Calypso. Are we gonna see a stagger? Stagger, guys, come on. They got a stagger.
Discipline coming from Odyssey there. They did not expend a single ult in that engagement, which means they can now push into this with 5 ultimates. Almost 6 ultimates. They have their Nano Blade, they have their EMP, they have all the sustainability that comes along with Pretz's Primal Rage. They are going into the stack, and Pale Native has to get the biggest bomb of his life.
I will be shocked if they don't win this team fight. With the Nano Blade and EMP together, I don't see a way they lose this. Let's see this is a little bit on Assassin, but the Nano Blade as well can just win a team fight all by itself. Assassin on the high ground, Rinku on the other side here, splitting up the angles very nicely. Assassin has been spotted out though, gets the hack, oh not quite, gets moved back, and now they get aggressive. Pritz going in first here with his ulti, and they commit the Diva Bomb as well, not able to find any just yet. Trigger happy, here comes the ulti from Rich. Hemisphere finds Fluffy, that's a big kill. Gets the Diva as well. This, oh my god, oh my lord. They do manage to take the team fight, but again the discipline from Rage Quit Odyssey, not committing any of the significant ultis there.
I mean,
weird decision to initiate like that. So.
I mean, they tried it, they knew that, you know, maybe we can try this, we still have our big ultimates. But the fact that Calypso will punish them for that, they weren't letting them get away with that kind of push. I think Odyssey wanted to push, not use any ultimates, get some kills, so they have all their ultimates available for the last recontest they know is coming, but I think now they're going to have to be using their big ultimates and they know it.
And here comes Assassin, bring in here. They choose to commit to the Nano Blade first. Okay, there's the EMP afterwards. Rinku Christmas taken down straight away. This is looking pretty good for the Odyssey squad as Shadows commits his ulti as well. Everything going in. Trigger drops down. Slick with a big shadow. Can they find anything? I think the sound barrier is doing enough work there to keep the Odyssey team alive here. Slick is taken down, but with the trades coming in, I think they're going to be able to hold this. I spoke about 2CP and how you need to win these fights perfectly and cleanly the first time, or you're going to struggle, and it looks like Recontest is going to be coming in here for the Calypso squad. Shadows dropping low, but no, the Doomfist taken down there. Slick as well on the ball, dropping low here. This Anna is doing so much work, but Brigitte back in the mix here. BK7 finds a kill on Rinku. Kills going both directions with the spawn advantage firmly in favor of iEnvy Calypso here, as Rage Quit Odyssey gonna have to back out of here. Unbelievable, guys. They lost. They lost the team fight.
They lost. I think they lost. I don't know what to say. I mean, you know, they didn't finish out those kills fast enough. Calypso did not play that perfectly. They used their ultimates enough to stall, and that is all you want to be doing on 2CP. Stalling. You know you have the superior spawn time, and getting those trades, whether you're getting 1 kill, they're getting 3, you can still win those kind of fights. And now they're Odyssey are going into this with just an EMP, while they have Rally and Bomb on the side of Calypso. So again, I see this fight going on the side of Calypso, but ooh, Fred's almost getting caught up there.
There's the EMP, it's a big one as well. He finds 4, not leaving much space for Calypso to work with, but so far only 1 kill. They do pop the lamp here. BK7 committing that for his team here. Pretz frozen up, but he does get nano bladed from Fluffy. That support making all the difference here. Anna, oh my god, Christmas, nowhere to go. Pale taken down as well. Trigger happy, finding another big ulti, but doesn't help. going in here, and they find anything else. They're focusing trigger happy. I don't know that that's the person I'd be trying to kill in the males, but okay, whatever. DK7 coming in, the wall blocking them off. They've got a little bit of time here. Pale gonna commit the rocket boosters to get in onto point here, and they find anything else. Oh, in the background, Crispus there taken down. Here comes the Doomfist in, finds not anything. Yes, he finds Shadow Z. Could be that be the kill. It turns this in Calypso's favor. There's a Junkrat coming in as well from Hemisphere. Now on the point, he's completely alone, isolated. Can he find anything? Not able to find anything. Point ticks up, and Odyssey will take our first map of 2020, our first match rather, and our first map of the Raving Mad Gamers Summer League. And they did it in dominating fashion.
They performed ultimately there. You know, they did kind of throw a little bit at the end. They weren't using those combos exactly, or on the fact that Calypso was just responding perfectly, but that EMP led them to that win. They finally got there what they were looking for with it, and they were able to push with it. I think that more came down to the fact that I think Calypso weren't either aware of the EMP, planning for the EMP. You know, when you know there's an EMP coming at you, you have to be ready, you have to be hidden, and unfortunately, they
honestly,
weren't.
I don't think they realized he had it because he just used it in the previous fight. So really good job from Assassin to build that up by the time the next fight started. And I think it just caught them off guard, like you say. Speaking of,
we are going to see if we can probably see if we can get an interview through with Pret of the Odyssey winning team. But who would you give the player of the game in this specific?
I was just about to ask you that. I usually let the analyst pick first because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Assassin played crazy. I think yes, he wasn't always getting his kills, but he was giving the space. His Blizzard Warriors on point. He was able to do what he needed to do for his team. And that is, I think, where I would give player of the game to. He was freezing that Reinhardt constantly. Slick could not move without being frozen. So we have to, I think for me, that's who we'd give it to.
I definitely agree. I think the only other, the significant other standout for me was Fluffy. We saw him hitting some beautiful anti-nades, and we'd have to assume the discipline they showed was in no small part to Fluffy's influence as well.
Yeah, like I said, Fluffy is an amazing pickup from this team. He has the knowledge, he has the skill that, you know, Odyssey are relying on. I think, again, you can't just say Fluffy's carrying them. They are performing incredibly in their own right, but it's giving them direction. I think that direction is what they needed. 1 second, we are just trying to get a voice chat we can use for the interview. We're going to move to the general voice chat.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, you know, he's giving them the direction that they need, and that is the most important. So we are joined here from Pret, who taken his first win, his team's first win, 3-0. How does it feel?
I just want to say well done to Calypso. They put up a major fight. But GG's to us and GG's to Blur and Rage Quit. We are very excited to take the 3-0 win on our first game as a new roster.
So, obviously, not describing too much of your practice sessions or whatever, but how do you come into these games? You know, the nerves of starting your South African scene, starting all that. How do you come into the game like this, and how do you drill? Because you guys looked amazing. You worked together as a unit. You had your targets called.
I mean, when we went into practice, Blur has been literally drilling us with a lot of the meta picks and stuff, and we've just been going on with that. But with the major pickup of Fluffy, bringing in the comms, running in our shot calling and me as targets, it's just cleaning up things so much. And now that the cables are fixed, we can actually show what we're truly about.
I think every single one of the viewers, I agree, those cables were an absolute nightmare. But, I mean, we didn't want to assume, but we did assume that Fluffy would be the one calling those strats. He does come in with the knowledge and experience. But like I said, he didn't carry you guys. He gave you the direction, and you guys were able to capitalize perfectly on everything he did. You guys played amazingly, better than I ever seen you guys play, and I come from your team. So congratulations on there. So you mentioned Blur as your coach. So how often do you guys have those coaching sessions? How often do you guys practice, you know, to get this caliber?
Well, recently we've been doing two practices a week, and I literally can't thank him enough. He is one of the best coaches in South Africa, I think, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here and at the caliber that we are. So, very big shout out to Blur.
All right, well, we won't take your time. We know that you do have a whole bunch of celebrating to do, but congratulations on your team's win. There are still 11, 10 weeks to go, so keep that up. We're expecting a lot more from you now.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for RMG for hosting this. Since VS dropped us, but thank you for bringing it up, and good luck for the rest of the teams, and big shout out for Calypso for putting up so much of a fight.
Thank you so much. Chat to you later.
Cheers, okay, bye.
All right, Phoenix, I think that is where we end our stream today. After that, I want to call it a 3-0, and some fights were a bit of a walkover. It was still a generally close game.
Yeah, I think 3-0 was the correct result, if I can put it that way, but was by no means a complete stomp. I think we saw some good stuff from Calypso. There's some good signs for that squad, but it was nice to get a sense at least of where these two teams stack up, and it looks like Odyssey going to be a team to look out for.
Yep.
Going forward.
I think we still do have 10 weeks, but this was a very strong showing, and they have now put themselves not the top, but at the top 4 of everybody's minds going through this tournament. Calypso showed a ton of potential, though. We have hyped up Odyssey quite a bit, but Calypso showed tons of potential in some of those fights. Yes, we did attack on them for some of the things that they've done, but some of those fights came very cleanly. That attack on Eichenwald, they showed ultimate potential, and I'm also excited to see where they place and how they pull through coming forward.
And something we didn't put any focus on was the synergy between Pale and Slick on the tank line there for Calypso. There were a couple of really good combos with the Diva Bomb and the Reinhardt tech, whether it be the Charge or the Shatter. So that is something you really want in a good team, is a strong synergy between your two tanks.
I agree. But with that does end the stream. If any of you out there watching are wanting your games to be streamed, be sure to ask the casters of COWSA. We're always available. We're looking forward to get back into casting, myself super much included. So don't be afraid. Casting is super fun. So contact us, or we'll contact you, and we look forward to seeing everybody.
In general, we're keeping track of everything. So don't worry too much about contacting us. Otherwise, we're going to be inundated with 20 teams. Also, it's like, no, yeah, we know you've all got games today. So we're keeping track of everybody. If we've got 2 people to cast, the games will be casted. So
otherwise, that is it from me, Authorize. Sun, any parting words you want to say?
I'm excited for the season.
I agree. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming through. Thank you so much for the support that we've had on stream today. We will see you guys next time with the next game, and good luck to every team competing this week.
Bye-bye.